Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nate G. It is still leap day, leap year, February 29th, whatever you want to call it. We have another trade plan to set up on here. If you've traded with myself or Nate Bear or D-Man for any length of time, you'll know that this 78-minute chart is an absolute beauty, right? We've got this gap up, we've got this spike to highs, we've got a consolidation here, right around the averages, right? If we look at our TPS setup, do we have a trend? Yes, we definitely have a trend, right? Do we have a pattern? Heck yeah, it's even almost a flat top bird pattern, right? We've got a squeeze, and if we get a little bit closer, we are in an A plus squeeze with our momentum rolling to yellow. So this thing's gorgeous. So let's set up a trade plan on it. Um, Generally, I want to set up a trade plan that requires us to wait for an entry. This actually looks pretty close to a good entry spot, but let's set it up anyway. So as you can see here, actually what I'm going to do is change my settings on my canvas. I'm going to bump up my numbers so you can see them a little bit. First thing I'm going to put in here is this value area high because it is the most obvious value area high. We have two spots where we've tapped it, creating this resistance level. You can see over here, and I'm doing this a little bit slower because people in the room have asked me, how do you get your lines? You can see this is the top end of this volume profile node, which is all of these traders here. And you can see it's acted as resistance 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate candles. Okay, so that is my value area high for this pattern, right? Then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to find a value area low for the overall pattern, which is way down here, right? And you can see that because we've got all of this support level happening, right? Um, so that's on the chart. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put a target level of a break of this high. I'm going to make this green. And I just want to double check. I'm pretty sure I'm right. In fact, I know I'm right. But I always want to know, is this the all-time high? And the best way to do that is just come out to a weekly chart, check out a weekly chart and go, heck yeah, that is an all-time high. I love that. So I want to trade this thing. I want to trade it. I want to trade it bad. All right. So I've got my value area low. And we do these nice and slow so that everybody can understand what's happening. Normally you don't have to label these, but I'm going to label them anyway because it's a good exercise. Value area high. Okay. This would be for a trade. This would be target 1 and it's all time high. Okay. I am going to put a line right here. You can see this is the largest piece of volume profile right here that sticks out. That is going to be my point of control. And because we're trading slightly above it, I put that mark at the bottom end of that bar, right? Not above, not below. Let me get a little bit closer so that I can kind of show you what I'm doing here. So you see my dotted line is on the lower part of that bar, okay? Because we're trading above it right now, okay? So that's where I'm going to put that line, and I'm going to make it red, okay? So now that I have these lines in here, oh wait, I want to label it just so we can, when we go to a shorter time frame, we can see it. Okay, we have our POC. Okay, so I've got my target, my first target, my value area high, my POC, my value area low, and then I'm just going to draw because this is how I like to trade these. I'm going to come in here and get my fib retracement. I'm going to go to the high to the low of the pullback, and I'm going to put one more line up here at the 1272 extension. I'm going to label that green, and I'm going to call that target 2. And I'm apparently Swedish with the multiple A's. Okay, there's target 2. And then I'm just going to delete that because I don't need it to sit on there. All right. So now I'm going to go in here to a 5-minute chart, and I'm going to try and find myself a good entry spot. I'm going to adjust, probably need to adjust my value area, my point of control here just slightly. Let's see, I need to see the whole pattern. Let's go to a 10-minute. That's better. Right, I want it to fit within my window and still see my levels. This is still my point of control, but this level here is also pretty big. So what I would do is put in another red line, and now I understand that this chunk right here is really kind of my point of control. This blue box is a nice chunk. And we're trying to get up and over it, as you can see, right? We've tried here, we've tried here, we've tried here, we're trying here, we're trying there, we're trying again, right? If we can get up and over that, we are in great shape. The other thing I'm going to put on here is, if I back up just a little bit, make it a little bit smaller, we have a nice trend line right here. Okay, this is just a beauty of a chart. Now, this thing might just go without me right now. I would like to pick it up maybe off VWAP today, but it just doesn't look like it wants to give us that. It looks like it's ready to go. Of course, as soon as I start talking about it, it looks like it's ready to go. But really, to show us that it's ready to go, it's got to get up over this level here. Up here at basically 79 even. Right? 79 even is kind of an important level. So the trade plan on this would be, I'm not going to pick it up now, because the purpose of setting up these trade plans is to find an area you'd like to pick this a name up in, and being patient and having a plan in place, right? That's what we're working on. Because if we picked it up now, right here, and we use the stop way down here, and we only went to our target number 1, that's not even a 1-to-1 risk reward, right? So we need to set this up a little differently. So the way I'm going to set this up from a risk reward perspective is, you see this piece of volume profile here lines up with the bottom of all of this area here, here, right? Now, I'm not going to go full position, but I'm going to come in here and make another yellow line. And this is a value area low for this block. So if I'm going to pick this up through this point of control, now my risk reward is a little better, right? It's 2-to-1. And if we're going up to target number 2, it's going to be even more. I am looking for some consolidation into the close today, and maybe a little morning wick down into this trend line area, okay, or down into this support area. I'm looking for that for a continuation move. That's going to be my plan for tomorrow, because we're coming into the close. This thing's up against resistance. Up here, it's either going to push through slightly and then roll over. I don't know what's going to happen to the close, but that's the pattern I'm watching right now. Okay, so I don't have an exact line. I'm looking for an entry, but somewhere around 78, okay, would be a nice entry spot. And if that happens, right, let's bring it down here. Okay, if I get in somewhere around 78 tomorrow morning, and I use this as a quick stop, right, I have a 9-to-1. If I take a partial entry with the ability to add later, right, if I take a partial entry around here and it goes without me, great. I'm still participating, right? But if I take a partial entry there and we get a roll down to here, I can add, right? I can add down here to be full positioned, and then my risk reward is very tight, okay? But if I don't, I still have basically a 2-to-1 risk reward. So that's my trade plan right now. Uber's on a 78. So if I put in Uber, again, I'm going to go out to the March 15th. Ooh, there's a lot of traffic in the 80s. So I will probably be buying 315s. The $80 if you wanted something a little bit more in. Oh God, if I could just. Wow. The $80 calls, or you could get the 79s, right? Either one. It's a 46 and a 53 risk reward. There's way more volume and open interest in the 80s, right? And I like the 80s because that leaves me a little bit more room to add on a pullback. But yeah, you're going to get about a 50 delta right in between there. And so on a pullback, I might actually be doing the 79s on a pullback. Okay, and I'm risking $2 on the underlying. We've done this math before on a 50 delta, right? And if we're buying those for, I don't know, let's say $2, you can already figure out your risk reward. So that's my trade plan in Uber. I kind of wish I was already in it from a little bit earlier today, but it's just an absolute stunner of a chart. This is what we play all day long. The 78-minute, gorgeous. It's got this flat top, resistance value area, high level, and some very key areas in which to take a trade off of. I love this. I know D-Man's already in it, and I know if Nate Bear was not traveling, he would also be buying this thing with both hands, as he likes to say. He would do this. When this comes into here, I will be buying it with both hands. You know, he'd do one of his little drawings. Right? And then we always have to remember to let the chart know where it needs to go. Like that. Let's just let the chart know that it needs to do that. Okay? That's the trade plan on Uber. Let me know if you have any questions.